In this video, I will show you how to use the Y157 EEZ-READER for Chrysler, Jeep, and Dodge vehicle that are using this key. Every Chrysler, Jeep, and Dodge vehicle that have a Y157 cylinder and a key, the best way to read the cylinder will be using this device, which is the Y157 EEZ-READER. And let's see how we do it step by step. So important information is to know that this is an EEZ-READER for Y157, and in this EEZ-READER there are a few things to know. Right here is the slot. Okay, this is how we call to this piece we call the slot. And on the EEZ-READER we have here four lines. Okay, so the first line right here will be line number one. The second line is line number 2. The third line is line number 3, and the fourth line is not line number 4. And why I'm saying that? I'm saying it that once you're gonna measure the cylinder, with the EEZ-READER and the measure stick, you will need to know which one is 1, which one is 2, which one is 3, and which one is 4. So I'm gonna repeat what I said. The first one will be 1. The second one is 2. The third one is 3, and the fourth one is 4. Okay? This is the measure stick right here in my finger. The silver stick. And on the measure stick we have this marker right here. And the marker, normally when you put the EEZ-READER inside the cylinder, when you slide it in, the marker normally will stop at one of these lines. For example, if it stops right here, that means that the cut that you find is number 1. Okay? If the marker stop here, the measure stick stop here, that means that the cut that you find is number 2. If it stop here, it means that cut that you find is number 3. And of course, if it stop here, that means that the cut that you find is cut number 4. And now let's go to the procedure, and let's see how we do it step by step. Okay, so one moment. All right, so when you go to a Chrysler, Jeep, or a Dodge, the first thing that you want to do, we want to clean the cylinder very, very good. This is the most important step in the entire process. And why am I saying that? I'm saying it because the cylinder for a vehicle, of course, most cylinders have a dust cover on the cylinder, but the key that the customer used to have has entered and exit so many times, and also we don't know how much dust we have inside the cylinder, and for that reason we want to clean it really, really good. So any dust, any sand that is inside the cylinder, we're gonna clean it, and we're gonna melt it, so it will be so clean, and then the EEZ-READER will be able to measure the cylinder the best way. Without the cylinder being clean, it's not gonna work. It's not gonna be as accurate, and you're gonna have to work twice as hard, maybe even more, because if it's not clean, it's very hard to measure the cylinder the correct way. And if you don't measure the cylinder the correct way, most chance you're gonna have mistake, and why you're doing it from the beginning. So in order to clean the cylinder, what we use a cutted key, a Y157 cutted key. You can also use a Y159, okay? Key that is already being cut, pre-cut. The best way to cut it is 131313, so it's gonna have like nice cut. And the second thing that we're gonna use WD-40. WD-40 we're gonna put inside the cylinder, and with the cutted key, we're gonna clean the cylinder. So let's see how we do it. If I'm gonna take the WD-40 and I'm gonna try to put it inside the cylinder, it's not gonna fit. Okay, this part is too wide for getting inside the cylinder. So what I do, I take the cutted key and I put it slightly inside the cylinder, open up the dust cover, and then I take the WD-40 and I spray inside. Now, when you do that, people can be very cautious and careful about their car. They're really worried about their car. So because we're gonna put a lot of this WD-40, what I'm gonna do, and what you wanna do as well, you wanna get a paper towel or any kind of towel and put it underneath while you're doing it. So if the oil will go out at the bottom, if the WD-40 will be so much so it will start to go out to the bottom, it will not make the car, it will not gonna go on the car, and then the customer can complain and argue with you. So you want to be ready and make sure that you have a paper towel next to you. All right, so the way that you want to position your paper towel is right here, right underneath the cylinder. And again, we put the EEZ-READER inside, the dust cover open, and I spray WD-40. And you need to spray a decent amount of WD-40 to clean the cylinder. Spray more, spray more. After you spray a little bit, you take the key and you start to go in and out inside the cylinder. In and out, in and out. Shake it, shake everything that is inside. Remember, the goal is to clean the cylinder, is not to be nice for the cylinder. The goal is to clean it so we can measure it the most accurate way and do it one time instead of 2 or 3 or 4 times. Okay, once you did it, you're not done. You put the key inside again and you spray more. Now you can also see why I put this paper towel. Again, you clean in and out. You want to clean it very, very good. You don't want to work twice. You can do left and right, in and out. And one more time. Most of the mistakes that people do when it comes to reading the cylinder using this EEZ-READER, most of them, if not all of them, come from not cleaning the cylinder good enough, not investing the time in cleaning the cylinder, and for that reason the cuts that they found are not accurate. So you want to put enough time in cleaning the cylinder. Okay. Once you feel that you clean the cylinder good enough, now it's time to go to the EEZ-READER. Another thing that is important to mention, that before you start, you want to have a paper and a pen, okay? And you want to do the next chart, which I'm going to do now. So the chart that I just draw, let's have a look at that, is this chart. Okay, now let's understand what this chart is. The Y157 Chrysler Jeep and Dodge, the cylinder and the key itself, actually the key itself have 8 cuts. And as you can see, I have 8 cuts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And now I need to measure. I need to measure each cut. What will be the depth? What will be the number of the cut? So I know what to do in the machine after that. I know what to type in the machine. And that's how I could read the cylinder. Super important to mention that cut number 1, if you see, it is a question mark. Why is a question mark? The reason that cut number 1 is a question mark is that inside the cylinder, inside this cylinder, inside the door cylinder of Chrysler Jeep and Dodge, we don't have cut number 1. We don't have cut number 1 right here. Inside this cylinder and inside every Chrysler Jeep and Dodge vehicle, you have cut number 2 until cut number 8. And cut number 1 is not exist in the cylinder. So, for that reason, the chart that you want to draw will always gonna look like this. Cut number 1 with a question mark, and then we have all of the other cuts open. Now we're gonna understand how we're gonna measure the EEZ-READER. At the top of the cylinder, okay, inside the cylinder we have top wafer. Okay, one moment. Inside this cylinder, if we're gonna understand how the cylinder works, let's say we split it to 2 parts. We have the top, and we have the bottom. Okay, we have 4 wafers at the top. 4 wafers at the top. Okay, and we have 3 wafers at the bottom of the cylinder. Okay, we have 4 at the top and 3 at the bottom. So, if we're gonna look at the chart, now the question is which one? Which wafers are at the top and which wafers are at the bottom? Okay, so the answer is pretty simple. The wafers that are at the top of the cylinder are wafer number 8, 6, 4, and 2. The even wafers. Again, 8, 6, 4, and 2 are the wafers that are at the top of the cylinder. And of course, if these are the wafers that are at the top, the wafers that are at the bottom part of the cylinder, at the bottom part, these wafers are the uneven. So the wafers are 7, 5, and 3. Okay? So at the top of the cylinder, we're gonna find the even one, which is 8, 6, 4, and 2. And at the bottom of the cylinder, we're gonna find 7, 5, and 3. And once we did that, then, only then, we can figure out which one is number 1, and I will get to it at the end of the video, later in this video. Okay? So now let's see how we measure the cylinder. Okay, so the first thing, of course, we already did. We did clean the cylinder, we cleaned it pretty good, and now the time is to measure the cylinder, to use the EEZ-READER and to measure the cylinder. So, because right now I'm gonna read the top of the cylinder, then I will use the EEZ-READER with the slot towards up, towards the sky. Okay, I'm gonna use it towards the sky. And what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take the measure stick and I'm gonna put it inside this line, inside the line, all the way to the end, all the way. all the way, just like that. I will hold it just like that. Not over and not under. Exactly until the end. That's how you want to hold the EEZ-READER. And once you do that, you want to put it inside and put it all the way inside the cylinder, all the way. Okay. Now that you did it, the next thing that you want to do, you want to take the measure stick out of the EEZ-READER. After you take the measure stick out, you take the EEZ-READER and you slide it a bit back until it stops. We can see that we have one line here at the bottom. That's okay. Basically, when it stops and it doesn't move, the slot that is inside the EEZ-READER, I'm gonna take it out 1 second. In order to take it out, I slide the measure stick in and I take it out just like that. The slot that I was talking about is this slot. Okay, this slot. Just when I put the EEZ-READER inside with the measure stick, after I took the measure stick out and I slide back the EEZ-READER, the slot catch a wafer. So the wafer waited and boom, and the slot catches it. So because of that, it didn't move. So again, I'm gonna do it again. I take the EEZ-READER, I put the measure stick inside and I slide it in. And then the next thing that I do, I take the measure stick out. Okay, the next thing that I do, I take the EEZ-READER and I slide it out. As you can see, right now it doesn't come outside anymore, okay, because the slot just catch the wafer. Which wafer the slot catches? Okay, the slot catches wafer number 8. The wafer that is the most inside the vehicle, okay, the most inside the cylinder is wafer number 8. The wafer that is the closest to you is wafer number 1. Okay? In our case, because we are measuring the top of the cylinder, it will be 8, 6, 4, and 2. Remember, wafer number 1 is not exist in the cylinder, but the one that we're gonna find at the top are number 8, 6, 4, and 2. So because we find and we catch the first wafer, that will be wafer number 8. And now what I'm gonna do, when I want to measure what is the depth of a wafer number 8, what I do, I take the measure stick and I put my finger here and I slide it gently inside. As you can see, it's really gentle, and I slide it gently inside until I feel a resistance. Okay, right now I felt resistance in the measure stick, and if you can see, one moment, it did stop for me at this line, okay, and that line is line number 2. Okay, again, we don't trust the first time, we take it out again and I slide it in gently until I feel resistance. Now it passes and it's between cut number 1 and cut number 2. So if I'm not sure, no worry, or if you're not sure, no worry. What you want to do, you want to slide the measure stick all the way, lifting the wafer that it did catch up, and slide the EEZ-READER back again, and we're gonna try it again. We're just gonna put the EEZ-READER all the way in, take the measure stick out, and slide slightly the EEZ-READER out until it stops. You know that it stopped, that it doesn't come in and out again, and then you want to measure it again. So again, I put the measure stick inside and slightly I slightly push it in until it stops. And as you can see, for a few times it did stop for me at number 1. Okay, at number 1. I recommend to position the finger right here and then slide the measure stick inside. Okay, that's how I recommend to do it. And the reason is that once I slide it in, I don't want to have any movement of the measure stick left and right. And for that reason, I make sure that I put the finger here and then test it. Okay, so the cut number 8, I'm gonna write it as 1. So I go to the chart that I did before, which is this chart. Okay, and you should do it too. And I write it number 8, cut number 1. I'm gonna write it right now. All right. So cut number 8, based on my readness of the EEZ-READER, cut number 8 is 1. All right. So now we're gonna figure out which one is cut number 6 and how we're gonna catch it. Okay, how we're gonna catch it. So what I do, I take the measure stick, I push it a bit inside to lift the wafer that it did catch before, wafer number 8, and then I take both the EEZ-READER and the wafer and I slide them back a bit to pass wafer number 8, and then I take the measure stick out, and as you can see right now it did catch another wafer. This wafer is the second wafer, the second deepest wafer inside the cylinder. And you can also see that now we have 2 lines right here. We have 2 lines. Before we had 1 line, and now we have 2 lines that we can see. That means that we caught the second wafer from the inside of the cylinder, from the inside the cylinder, the deepest one, the second deepest one, and the second deepest one is wafer number 6. Now that we did it, and we make sure that we cannot take the key out. Now what I do, I take the measure stick and I slide it again inside, gently, until I feel resistance. And again, I take it out again and I slide it until I feel resistance. As you can see, I'm pressing really gently with my thumb until I feel resistance. And it did stop here. Oh, one moment, I just pushed it by mistake. And I slide it in until I feel resistance. And I felt the resistance few times here. And this line is line number 4. So I'm gonna go to the chart again and I will write that wafer number 6 is 4. So I go to the chart again and I'm gonna write here number 4. Like that. Okay. Now that we already have wafer number 8 and wafer number 6, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna do the same again. I will go ahead and catch wafer number 4. And how do I do it? I take the measure stick, I slide it inside, I feel the resistance that before I have, but I'm not stopping in the resistance, I slide it in. Now the wafer that used to be that I catch, I lift it up, and I take the measure stick and the EEZ-READER together and I slide them slightly out until I see the third line, this third line right here, this third line. So we can see 1, 2, and 3. And then I slide it a bit back until it catch. And now you can see that the EEZ-READER, the slot, catch the third wafer from the inside. So remember, the deepest one was 6. Excuse me, the deepest one was 8. Then was 6, and now we're at wafer number 4. And you can also see that right now here we can see 3 lines. Okay, that means that we catch the third one from inside. And that wafer is wafer number 4. So now that we know that, let's measure what is the number of wafer, what is the depth of wafer number 4. So again, I take the measure stick and I put my thumb here and I slightly slide the measure stick inside. Okay, and it did stop at this wafer, but what I do now, again, don't trust your first judgment. Take it out and do it again. It's take you just a few more seconds to do it, to double check. And again. All right, and this line is wafer number 2, line number 2. So I will write it wafer number 4, 2. So I go again, I go to this chart. One moment. I go to this chart and I write it wafer number 4, 2. Just like that. And the next wafer that I will find is wafer number 2, and this is how I do it. Again, what I do, one moment. What I do, I take the measure stick and I slide it inside, lifting wafer number 4 to the top, and then I slightly slide it out until I see, as you can see, the fourth line, and then I slide it back and you heard the click. That click is that it did catch the wafer number 2. And now you can also see 4 lines. You can see 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so you know that this is wafer number 2. Okay, now that you did that, again, I slide the measure stick inside and slowly slide it in. And it did stop here, but I will do it again just to double check. And it did stop slightly behind number 4, so that would be number 4. So wafer number 2 is 4. So again, go to the chart and I'm gonna write here 4. Just like that. Okay, so now, as you can see, we find cut number 8, 6, 4, and 2 at the top of the cylinder. We're just gonna find these 4. And now we need to find cut number, wafer number 7, 5, and 3, and they will be at the bottom of the cylinder. They will be at the bottom of the cylinder. So what I will have to do, I will have to do the same thing, but I will have to flip it. So what I do, I press the measure stick inside and I slide out the EEZ-READER. I slide it out. Then what I need to do, I need to flip it. Now the slot that was up, now it's at the bottom of the cylinder. And then I will have to slide the EEZ-READER. Of course, I will have to position the measure stick inside all the way like we did before. And you will have to slide it upside down and then slide it all the way in. Take the measure stick out and catch the first wafer, the deepest one, which is number 7. Because the position of the camera just show us this side, what I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna switch side of the camera so you can see the action from this side. Hi, I'm Moshe. I'm sorry to interrupt your video. I know it's a pain in the ass, but look, I want to tell you something important. I can tell that you're really interested in learning about how to program car keys and remotes. Well, that's what we do in LOCKSMITH Videos Online. So this YouTube channel is just a small fraction of what we actually do. You should really visit our website at LOCKSMITHvideosonline.com. There, you could find hundreds of videos and tutorials that will show you step by step how to program all kinds of car keys and remotes. From transponder keys to remote head keys to smart keys for vehicles that have a push-to-start system, and much more when it comes to the locksmith field in general and the automotive field. So if you click on the link below this video or go to locksmithvideosonline.com, you can have access to all of the knowledge that I acquired throughout my 15 years locksmith career, and you can become as professional as I am on your first day and on your first try. Yes, I just said it. You can become as professional as I am on your first day and on your first try. I don't think you can afford to be without it. Okay, now that we are measuring the bottom part of the cylinder, what we needed to do again is, before we measured the top of the cylinder, so the slot of the EEZ-READER right here was towards the sky, up. Because we are going to measure now the bottom part of the cylinder, wafers numbers 7, 5, and 3, we're gonna have to flip the EEZ-READER upside down, and so the slot will be towards the ground, okay, towards the floor. And again, the deepest wafer will be wafer number 7, after that wafer number 5, and after that wafer number 3. And because we put the EEZ-READER in this direction, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna also flip the measure stick upside down, so it's gonna match with the EEZ-READER, and I will put it inside exactly the same like I did before, until the end, exactly until the end. So it's like creating like a key, and I slide it all the way inside. And then the next thing, I take the measure stick out, and then I gently slide the EEZ-READER out, and you can see now one line. You can see also the tip of the second line, but it's just a little bit. So the wafer that I just caught is wafer number 7. And what I do, remember, I need now to slide the measure stick upside down in order to measure it correctly. So what I do exactly the same like I did earlier. One moment. I slide it gently, 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 until I feel resistance. And I felt resistance right here, and I will do it again. Right here, and I will do it again. And it did stop right here. And this is wafer, this is depth number 3. So what I do, I will continue with what I did before, and I will fill up a cut number 7 and 3. Just like that. Just like that. Okay. Now that I did it, I'm going ahead and I'm gonna go ahead and catch cut number 5. So what I do, the same thing, I slide all the way the measure stick inside, all the way, and I slide it slightly out. And I slide both of them, of course, I catch both of them and slide it out. And I take the measure stick out. And as you can see, right now, it did catch wafer number 5. And I can see now 1, 2, and slightly the third one. So it did catch wafer number 5. And again, I just repeat the process. I put the measure stick, again remember, upside down because the EEZ-READER is upside down, and slide it gently until I feel the resistance of the wafer. It did stop me here, so okay, it did stop me here again, so this wafer of course is wafer number 4. So I go to the chart and I feel number 5 as 4. Just like that. And the last wafer that I will find now is wafer number 3. So just repeating the procedure, press the measure stick all the way in, lifting the wafer that was just caught, take both of them and take them out together, take the measure stick out and let the slot catch, as you can see, the last wafer, which is wafer number 3. And right now we can measure 1, 2, 3, and the 4th one is exactly on the face of the cylinder, and I can see that it doesn't come in and out. And what I do, I slide again the measure stick and slide it the same like I did before until I feel resistance. And I did felt it here, and I will do it again. It did stop me here. So this is number 3. That means that cut number 3 is 3. There you have the chart, and I will fill up number 3 at 3. All right, just like that. Okay, and now, as you can see, I filled up everything except cut number 1 that is not exist inside the cylinder. I have all of the other cuts, and once I do that, now I can go ahead and cut the key, and after that we're gonna check of course if it works. Okay, now after we find the cut that are in the door lock cylinder using the EEZ-READER, okay, we find cut number 2 until cut number 8. We're missing just cut number 1. So how do we find cut number 1? There are 2 methods, and right now I will explain you about the first one, which in many cases will be the easiest way. So what we do, we go to a lock code application. So we're gonna go to this application, which is the lock code application, and we're gonna open it. When you open the lock codes application, this is lockcodes2.com. What you wanna do, you wanna make the screen bigger, and you're gonna see that you have few categories. We have codes online, we have key blank cross references, and we have fill online. Since we're doing a filling because we already have the cuts and we don't convert code for cuts, we have already the cuts. What we're gonna choose, we're gonna choose fill online. What I'm gonna show you also is that the fill online, if you don't wanna do it like this, you can also find it right here, okay, at the top. But since I'm doing it, I like normally to make it bigger and to press on fill online. And normally you will have to put your username and password. So in our case, and in this screen we give you a list of vehicles that you can choose from which vehicle you will fill it from. Since for this example I'm doing 2012 Chrysler 200, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna choose Chrysler, so it's going with the alphabet. So what I do, I make the screen bigger, and we can see Chrysler, so I'm gonna press on Chrysler. And right now it tells me, it asks me which Chrysler I'm gonna choose from, which Chrysler. Most model with double-sided key are right here. Single-sided, 2 trucks, and exceptions. since we are doing a double-sided key, a Y157, we're gonna choose, and it's 2012, so it's 19098 and up. That's the M series. I'm gonna press on that, and once I do that, it opens this screen, and what we can see a key symbol, and it tells us enter 8 character below. Since we have an 8 cut key and we have cut number 2 until 8, but we do not have cut number 1, what we're gonna do, we're gonna press on this, and what we're gonna do, we're gonna put a cut number 1 as question mark. And then, one moment, I'm gonna make it even bigger. And then we're gonna continue and put all of the other cuts that we find. Cut number 2 until 8. So cut number 2 will be 4. Cut number 3 will be 3. Cut number 4 will be 2. Cut number 5 will be 4. Cut number 6 will be 4. Cut number 7 will be 3. And cut number 8 will be 1. And I will press make chart. And it gives me the option that I have one option. I have only one option, and it gives me the cuts of the key. So if these cuts are correct, we can see that the first cut that it finds is number 4. So if this is correct, then cut number 1, according to the LOCKSMITH application, is 4. So what I'm gonna do now, I will switch the question mark right here to 4. To 4. And then the cuts will be matched between here and here. And for that reason, we use the LOCKSMITH application. Okay? All right, so now let's go to cutting the key. Okay, after we did the EEZ-READER at the door, and we did find cut number 1 using the LOCKSMITH application, now we need to cut the key. So what I do, of course, I turn on the Condor machine, and remember that now we have the whole cuts, and what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna put these cuts inside the machine, and we're gonna cut the key. So of course we go into the machine and we go to key duplication, and because I'm working now on Chrysler, I will choose Chrysler, and I press confirm. And because I'm doing Chrysler 200, I'm gonna choose 2, and it's already giving me the 200, and I will press confirm. And it tells me that the years are from 2011 and up. I'm doing 2012, so I press confirm. And it gives me some information that this is an 8-cut key. I press confirm. And in this screen, what I have all of this information. I have all of the cuts, cut number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 as question mark. And I need to fill them. So remember, these are the cuts that I find. And I will have, one moment, I will have to fill them inside here. And I will fill them using these numbers. So let's do that. If you're gonna take a look, oops, I did something, I'm not sure what I did, so let's ignore it. We can see that cut number 1 and 2 are 4 and 4. So what I do, since the yellow mark is at cut number 1, I'm gonna put 4. As you can see, cut number 1 switched to 4, and cut number 2 is also 4. Cut number 3 is 3, cut number 4 is 2. So I'm gonna put cut number 3 at 3, and cut number 4 is 2. Number 5 and 6, both of them are 4. So I'm gonna put 4 at 5 and 4 at 6. Cut number 7 and 8 is 3 and 1. So cut number 7 is 3 and cut number 8 is 1. So we can see and double check that the information that we put in correct. So 4432 4431. It is correct. Oops. And the next thing that we need to do, we need to take a look which clamp we're going to use and also where we're going to stop the stopper. So the clamp that we need to use is the M1 clamp. What I do, I open the machine. At this point, I don't have the M1 clamp. I have the M2. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to switch it. I slide the M2 out. And I take the M1 clamp and I put it inside. I slide it in. And of course, I close this button. And what I do, now I take a Y157 key and I will position it on the machine. If you have Y159, it will also work. Now, what's the difference between Y157 and Y159? Is exactly the same key. The only difference is the head. So as you can see, this one have a sharp head and this one have a rounded head, and that is Y159 and this is Y157, and both of them are exactly the same key. I'm going to use, for the sake of this video, Y159, this key. Excuse me, Y157. All right, so let's see how we position it on the machine. I slide the key inside. I take the stopper and I position it just like that. And I slide the key until it's stuck at the stopper. And I close the button and I take the stopper out. Then, because the key can be tilted up and down, of course I lock it in place the right way with this Allen key. Don't over tight it. You don't want to destroy the Allen screw. Make sure that it doesn't move. And now I make sure that everything is correct and I press cut. And we have the key. And once we have the key, the next thing that we need to do is check it in the door and in the ignition of the vehicle. Okay, so I'm going back with the key to the vehicle, go to the cylinder, and I take the key that I just cut and I slide it inside the door lock cylinder, and let's see if it turns or not. It does turn, and the other side is a little stiff. If it's a little stiff, no worries. Sometimes the key, when you cut it, is pretty sharp. It's the first time that we cut it, so it's pretty sharp. So what we do, we twist it to one side and we try immediately to twist it to the other side. And I know that you heard that click. There was a small click here. And what happened is that the cylinder, the cylinder just shaved a part of the key that was not cut perfect. And right now it turns both sides very smooth. And then what I do, I take the second side and I test the second side again inside the lock. And the second side worked very smooth. Again, if you put the key inside and it does not, it turns one side okay and the other side is a bit stiff, what you can do is what I did, just put a little bit of force and it will shave the cylinder, the key will shave itself to the shape of the cylinder. And if it doesn't work, you can always take a plier and catch it with the plier and just try to jiggle it, and that way you have more force to do it. So now after I did the cylinder and I know that the key is correct, let's check if the ignition also twists. Okay, I'm inside the vehicle and let's see if the key works on the ignition. So again, I put it inside and turns great. Of course, this key does not have transponders, so the security light is flashing, but we don't program the key now. We I'm explaining you about the EEZ-READER. So one side is work. What I do, I switch it to the other side because I want to make sure that both sides are working. Put it inside the ignition and I twist it to the on position, and it does light up the car. That means that the cut that we find are good. So I can take the key out and I know that it's good. And basically, that's it. You want to know how to program car keys and remotes for all type of vehicles and easily? Well, if you do, then I have the perfect solution for you. Hi, my name is Moshe and I'm the owner of a locksmith company for over 10 years. I'm an expert when it comes to program car keys and remotes. I created a website full of videos and tutorials that will guide you step by step how to program all kind of car keys and remotes. By using this website, you will be able to program all kind of car keys from your first day and from your first try. From transponder keys to remote head keys to smart keys for vehicles that have a push to start system. All you will have to do is just go to the search bar and type the make, year and model of the car that you would like to program the key for. Then choose the correct video from the suggested videos and follow the video step by step. It's that easy. And if you would like to order the exact same key that is being explained in the video, no problem. Just press on the link at the bottom of the description and you can order the exact same key that is being explained in the video. It's that easy. Go to www.locksmithvideosonline.com and see it for yourself.